They are telling you straight up, trust and money are right here. And if your score ain't 850 or bust, you can't even sit at the table.
Calling Jimmy John's cause them shooters don't deliver.
Welcome to the control room, where we are taking our news feeds back by cutting through the noise and putting truth back in our timelines. Let's take control. All right, y'all. I'm your host, Jaimsss P, and we are getting into some lyrical math today. This is the place where we break down your favorite lyrics by decoding the metaphors, meter, and meaning until it all adds up to the truth hidden behind the music. So let's get into it. We are taking it all the way to the VA legends today, who have recently dropped what can arguably be described as one of the best albums of 2025. I'm talking about Clipse, y'all. We are dissecting the song FICO from their latest album, Let God Sort 'Em Out, and this song is featuring Stove God Cooks. This song is a hustler's ledger, a street credit report, and a cautionary tale all wrapped into one. So let's break it down metrically and semantically, bar by bar, stress by stress. Okay, now let's look at the big picture and set the stage. FICO is named after the credit report system, and it plays with trust as currency. Pusha T and Malice, sometimes I want to say no malice, but he presents as Malice on this album, so I gotta stick with Malice. They are telling you straight up, in this game, your word is bond, trust, and money are right here. And if your score ain't 850 or bust, you can't even sit at the table. So the song itself, it is layered with betrayal, a bit of street paranoia, and that Clipse trademark of mixing luxury and some moral fatigue into the song. And Stove God Cooks on the hook is Chef's Kiss. He gives us a chant that we will be singing all day long. Now, FICO was highly requested, and because of that, let's stop what we're doing and like this video right now, because this week I was gonna do Euphoria by Kendrick Lamar, but I said let's give the people what they want, and because of that, I think the Shootas deserve a like, so handle that. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the metrics of this song and what they actually mean beneath the surface. So the way Clipse ride the beat in FICO goes crazy. Since this song is in 4/4 time or common time, every bar has 4 main beats. But Pusha and Malice, they stretch beyond those beats with syncopation. I'm gonna put the definition right here. But they sometimes cram 12 to 16 syllables into those 4 beats. So let's get into Pusha first. Pusha raps with a tight 4-beat cadence, but he usually fits 10 to 14 syllables into each bar. He favors internal rhyme and enjambment. Enjambment is the continuation of a sentence or a thought without a pause that goes beyond the end of a line or stanza. In this case, it goes beyond a bar. And he uses internal rhyme a lot in this verse. In this verse, he alternates between long narrative bars and short punchlines. And he does this for emphasis. So the long narrative bars will be anywhere from 14 syllables and up. And then the short punchlines will be around 8 syllables. He goes back and forth between these two to put emphasis on the statement that he is making. There is a recurring slant rhyme in this verse and assonance chaining. Now, slant rhymes are rhyming structures with words that share similar sounds but aren't exactly perfect rhymes. And assonance is when vowel sounds repeat in nearby words, especially in the middle of words or in stressed syllables. This looping of vowel sounds like psycho, lipo, knife go, dice roll, tightrope, flight go, maestro, die slow, creates cohesion in the verse. An example of this enjambment in Pusha's verse, he says,
I remember late nights, pissy hallways driving me psycho.
That's about 15 syllables, and the stresses fall irregularly. If you look at my graphic, you'll see the capitalized syllables are stressed while the lowercase syllables are unstressed. This bar is syncopated. He creates drag lingering behind the tempo, which feels cinematic, but he is not locked to the grid. And he follows that up with
The money wouldn't come fast enough,
which is a shorter syllable phrase that puts emphasis on the message that he is trying to convey. He also says,
some niggas get the luck of the draw, for others life is a dice roll.
that is a 17 syllable phrase, but it's one bar broken up between 4 beats. So he jammed the 17 syllables into 4 beats. If you look at the graphic, you'll see that there are multiple stress shifts in this bar. Some are right beside each other while others are spaced out. His rhyme scheme is internal and slant, and his meter for the most part spills over bar lines. So Pusha's flow kind of bends time like Dr. Strange. Pusha hits offbeat a lot. He's syncopated. He'll stress the mem and remember and then slide to the hall and hallways. It feels slippery or fluid, like you can't predict his next pivot. Pusha uses these long winding bars with syncopation, and he stretches lines beyond the beat. That unpredictability in his flow feels like he's always off balance, and that's the point. In this world he is speaking about, nothing is certain. The hustle is slippery. He even says it when he talks about making other people balance on a tightrope. His elastic flow in this verse mirrors a little bit of mental instability and constant motion, which equals constant tension. Now, Malice, on the other hand, has a more clipped and percussive delivery. He has slightly shorter bars, where Pusha had an assonance chain that was repeating vowel sounds. Malice has a consonance chain or stacked consonants, and that is repeated consonant sounds. He also employs compound rhymes in this verse, like waistline, take mine, change minds, gang signs, baseline, phase on, avon. Similar to Pusha, he uses a tightrope of internal slant rhymes, but his flow feels more mechanical and deliberate. His flow is different. It's more sniper-like. For example, he says,
Go get a Glock 27, fit snug in the waistline.
This bar is 13 syllables with clear hits that are on the beat, like get Glock 2 fit in waist. If you look at the visual, he falls into a boom bap cadence that hits on the 1, 2, 3, and 4 with very little lag. He says,
Hands 3 and 9 on the wheel as I'm crossing the state line.
That is 14 syllables, and the stress lands on hands, wheel, cross, and state. So his rhythmic pattern is more tight and consistent. It is almost militaristic. Malice keeps his stresses closer to the metronome. His delivery is less ornamental and more percussive. Malice hits hard with a clean, concise cadence. Shorter bars that are on beat stresses with little room for waste. It is disciplined, strategic, cold. And it tells us something. It tells us that this is a man who has already survived the war. And he moves like it. He raps like it. His precision equals survival logic. He's not scrambling. He is planning. And then Stove Got Cooks on the hook is almost nursery rhyme like. The repetitiveness of these two lines.
You don't know what I know. You ain't seen what I saw, no.
They give a bit of a call and response feel. And then the repetition of inside out.
Shooter turn you inside out. I heard the feds turned the crib inside out.
It stacks for memorability. Together, all these parts of this song, with all of their contrasting metric styles, paint a complete picture. If you look at it, Pusha's stresses snake through the bar, while Malice is locked on the grid and Stove God is in the dead center. That's why it feels like 3 different energies in one song. It is like Pusha is the storyteller and Malice is the enforcer. That contrast is what makes the Clipse so great, and it is what makes them so deadly when they trade verses. Let's look at how this song is layered. So Pusha's verse is a street hustler's memoir. He plays with dual themes of trust and credit. So this whole theme of credit score, the FICO of it all. This is a metaphor for trustworthiness in the drug game. If your score isn't high, 850 or bust, you can't do business. If I don't trust you, I can't mess with you. He says,
some niggas get the luck of the draw, for others life is a dice roll.
Which juxtaposes fate versus chance, showing that hustling is both luck and calculated risk. He talks about outsourced retaliation when he says, have my man shoot your block, send him far as the flight go, which is depicting his position in all of this because he doesn't even have to be present for things to take place. He is giving us the narrative, telling us the story. And ultimately, this verse ties credit to both trust and money. You need both financial and moral currency to survive. And then Malice, he is colder. He's more logistical. He leans into military precision and war metaphors. He says things like, every stringer bell just needs an Avon, which is a reference from The Wire. Every mid-level boss needs a kingpin. And he talks about his infamous run as well.
Survival of the fittest. You either get acquitted or face time. I done had an infamous run.
He ties this street legend persona to true crime TV.
My story gon' hit the first 48, then it's on Dateline.
Blurring myth versus reality, but also saying, I'm really like that, or I was really like that. So Malice is more pragmatic and reflective than Pusha. His bars are less about the thrill and more about the cost of longevity in the game. And then in the chorus, Stove Got Cooks, he flips the whole thing into a warning and a flex. He says things like,
with a fetty so strong you gotta bag it with one eye closed.
That's a fentanyl reference. It is so potent that you gotta handle it cautiously. He says,
drop the roof on you niggas, let the inside out.
That's a double meaning, like a literal car roof, and then also exposing someone's insides, which equates to violence. He talks about the Fresh Prince jacket, which is a style flex. Y'all know Fresh Prince wore his jacket inside out at the schoolhouse, and that was his swag. And also a violent reference. And so the hook works as a warning and as a flex, contrasting Stove God's flashy delivery with grim imagery. So let's get into some themes. I've already talked about the credit and the trust economy. FICO is the ultimate metaphor in this song. Your word, discipline, and your loyalty are your real credit score. Also, another theme, paranoia and betrayal. In this song, there is knife in the back talk, Repo Man imagery. We talk about the Maestro snitching or singing. And all of that shows how fragile alliances are in this game that they are rapping about. Also, coded luxury versus violence. I just talked about the Fresh Prince jackets, the diamonds that are like light shows, but are underlined with unaliving threats and federal raids. And then we got moral fatigue. Malice especially hints at weariness in his verse, or moral fatigue, as he shows the cycle of survival in his verse. So that's what I got, y'all. That is the full metric and semantic breakdown of FICO by Clipse featuring Stove Got Cooks. We mapped the syllables, we traced the stresses, and we decoded the meanings. Let me know in the comment section whose verse hit harder for you. Was it Pusha with the paranoia poetry? Malice with the cold surgical precision? Are you a fan of the hook? Let me know. If you're feeling this deep dive into FICO, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I drop a new Lyrical Math episode every single week. Don't forget to like this video and share it with somebody who you feel like might appreciate it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And remember to take control of your timelines. Do not let the algorithm think for you, because we are so done with that. I've been your host, James, and I will see you next time inside the control room.
Call him Jimmy John's, got them shooters on deliver.